Good evening, and welcome to the third edition of Globant AgileNXT 2021, a premier Agile delivery web conference. My name is Tejasvi, and I'm your host for Globant AgileNXT. Let me introduce Shivraj, fondly known as Shiv, has a wide range of experience working with niche software development setups, focusing on leading technologies as well as transformative digital journeys. He specializes in capacity management and business growth, organization building, delivery management, quality analysis, and control. Shivraj heads Globant's India Delivery and Talent Center and focuses on the expansion of transformational capacity at Globant in the EMEA and APAC region. One of the focus areas for Shivraj has been around readying capacity to take up digital transformation challenges.
Welcome to this amazing web conference for Agile Next. This is a truly landmark achievement for us. This has been an amazing response that we've received for the previous Agile Next, and congratulations to all of you to really attend this, because it is very important that each one of us invest time in these conferences. It might sound maybe sometimes time consuming, but at the end of it, you'll probably start seeing a huge, let's say, returns for yourself. So congratulations for attending this. A quick brief, I believe all of you were given some brief. My name is Shivraj, I head Global India, and I really want to welcome all of you to this. And one of the things I want to leave you today with this initial note is, what will make us and our organization relevant for the next, let's say, 15 to 20 years. It's very important for us to understand this aspect. What we are seeing is there's a lot of companies who are engaging in digital transformation, in transformation of their businesses. And what is really required today is a complete reinvention of the digital. We have seen a complete transition from the digitization phase to digital upgrades to digital transformation. And now is the time when we really want to reinvent how we do digital. This is not only because of the changing landscape because of COVID, at the same time, a completely changing perspective of how you can do things in this new age, but also it is expedited because of the fact that now everyone is so geographically distributed, at the same time so much more closer because of the digital forums. So it's very important for us to keep this in mind as a context on what's required as for companies when I say a reinvention of digital. So it's very important to also understand that a lot of us have to start thinking, what is it that will make us as individuals relevant for the next 20 years? What is it that will make us as agile practitioners relevant for the next 20 years? What it is basically being augmented. We need to be truly and deeply embedded into the whole thought process of machine learning, into AI, and the ability of driving projects at the same time, tracking and monitoring projects using AI and machine learning. A big misconception for a lot of people is project management or agile is really cocooned away from a lot of deep tech, like let's say deep learning or agile learning. But at the same time, it's equally contrary that one of the main areas that really needs a big reinvention is agile itself. In fact, we at Globant have already started calling agile itself very old and started thinking, what else can you do in terms of building pods, in terms of building pod constitutions in such a manner that we really are relevant and we are building the right kind of products for the next 20 years. When we have a thought process of building solutions, end-to-end solutions, you really cannot think in a very traditional manner. And when I say traditional, again, the traditional agile probably is the traditional manner anymore. I mean, we don't even talk about the waterfall anymore. The key thing now to start talking is, what else is needed to be done to truly make the products very, very relevant to what the problems that we are solving. And the problems are no longer focused on just having a fancy mobile app or a web app, but the problems today are focused heavily on keeping a company relevant for the next 20 years. we've seen a lot of companies transform and a lot of companies disrupt industries, right? We've seen Facebook disrupting the whole media landscape. We have seen completely disrupting the taxi industry. The key thing to understand here is every single industry and every company is going to go through this disruption, and we need ways to support these disruptions. We need ways to hack these businesses. And when we are embarking on these projects, these kind of projects, it's going to need a completely different perspective, a completely different way of looking into project management. And the traditional same old of agile probably will not cut it. We need to start thinking beyond agile. We need to start thinking what else is very important, right? I think what else is going to be the key throughout this whole conference that you'll be part of. I would definitely urge all of you to keep an open mind. I will definitely urge all of you to start thinking what else in every single thing that you hear in this conference and take back some of these learnings. You have some amazing talks coming up. So I wouldn't like to take up much time from that. I just wanted to come in and say hi and congratulate you for really investing in yourself. So welcome to this amazing web conference, and you guys have a great time. And let us know if you have any questions. Back over to you, Tejasvi.
I would now like to introduce Ajay Mulkalwar, an IT veteran with more than 25 years of overall IT exposure. He currently heads the Agile Delivery Studio for Globant India. Ajay was instrumental in setting up the studio from scratch and ensured it grew into a 250 strong team. Ajay has worked with different IT majors like IBM, Satyam, and Symphony. In the past, he has led various initiatives around agile, innovation, and operational excellence.
Welcome to this third edition of Agile Next, the premium web conference on agile methodologies hosted by Globant India. A little about Agile Next. Agile Next is a platform we created to get all the agile enthusiasts together to discuss and share their views on how agile is transforming to the needs of current business. Agile Next is a part of the NXT series that Globant hosts. This series aims to get all the delivery folks across the industry together to discuss, brainstorm, and share ideas and knowledge on different technologies, methodologies, project management practices. So Globant hosts on an average, one web conference every month, focused on one or other technology or the studio that we call, right? So this is the third edition of Agile Next. As you all would be knowing, and Shiv just talked about it, Globant is an extremely agile company. We have adopted agile right from the early stages of our inception. In fact, the business we are in, which typically drives services around business transformation for our customers, we need to remain agile. And that's what we have done. So Globant has adopted agile, not only adopted agile, but has also created its own framework around agile methodologies, which is a base of delivery execution for all projects in Globant. We have also created our own maturity model around agile, which helps us track the quality of delivery or the services that we provide to our customers, right? In Globant, we also have very specific agile-related consulting services that we provide, where we help our customers on their transformation needs, be it overall agile transformation or trainings related to agile, or like general transformation from one methodology to other. So in Globant, we focus a lot on a framework that we have created called the Globant Pod framework, which aligns totally with the agile philosophies, and that's why we take pride in saying that we are truly agile. The Agile Next event of 2021 is, as I said, the third in the series. We started way back in 2019, where in March 2019, we hosted the first Agile Next event as a part of this series, where we had a full day physical web conference held at our office in Hindiwadi. The theme for that event was Future of Agile, and we had a good response of more than 1,000 registrations and 350 plus people eventually making it to the physical web conference. We had multiple topics and even panel discussions where different leaders from the industry came together to brainstorm on the future of Agile. We had the second event last year, once again in December 2020. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we had to host that conference in a virtual mode. So instead of having a one-day, full-day conference, we broke it into a two-day event where we had once again speakers of repute of the industry come together and address people who joined from different places and different background, right? So here we are in the third instance of Agile Next, as I said. Once again, because of the COVID, we unfortunately couldn't host this in our offices. Nevertheless, continuing with the new normal, we are hosting this now for 2 days, 8th and in December. There are a lot of sessions. We have speakers who are, known speakers in the Agile world from different industries and different cities from India. And they are going to enlighten you in the next 2 days, and they're going to share their perspective on Agile and the whole Agile transformation that is, getting in place to achieve business agility. As you would know, the theme for this year's Agile Next is Agile Transformation Leveraged for Business Agility, right? Whenever we talk about the business agility, and in the current context, you would see that a lot of businesses are really looking to reinvent themselves and transforming themselves. And when they look at transforming, they definitely look at really going into that in an agile way, right? Whether it is about approaching their vision, or it is about the execution, or it is about getting their own people, ready for this transformation. They definitely want to see how they can use the agile transformation to suit the business agility. And as service providers, and as collaborators of such businesses, we also need to be ready. So the theme for this event is Agile Transformation for Business Agility. And the speakers are going to talk about how we can transform the agile that we have been using, for the last few years to suit to the current business agility needs, right? In fact, all of you know the new COVID, situation that we all faced, unprecedented situation, really made us all transform, right, in some or other way. We had to quickly adopt to the new normal, we had to quickly get into, a mode where everyone started working remotely, right? And that remote working itself defied the agile philosophy, right? But there was a transformation where agile developers across the world came together and adopted this new normal by transforming themselves, right? They leveraged a lot of tools, they leveraged a lot of new processes to remain connected with people, to kind of be united as a team, and use various platforms like Slack and Hangout to kind of also work together as a team, right? And that is a very small example of agile transformation, if you say. Likewise, we also transformed, in different ways in which we executed our agile projects. There are new methodologies like SAFe, new philosophies like Management 3.0, which are driving the agile execution of late. So how we can, transform to these new paradigms of agile, how we can prepare ourselves to the next wave, how we can prepare ourselves for the next or the new normal, is what we are going to aim in this 2-day web conference, right? So once again, welcome you all and thank you all for joining this event. I'm sure you are going to learn a lot in the next 2 days. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of knowledge sharing in store for you. So all the best. I'll take a minute to thank all our collaborators, Pretty Agile, Agile Thought Leaders Pune, and DG Group, to collaborate with us in hosting this event and also help us reach to all the Agile enthusiasts across not only Pune city, but across India and even across the world. So thank you once again, all of you, and welcome to this today workshop, and looking forward to exciting times in the next 2 days.
Agile Next 2021 has a power packed schedule with 8 industry leaders who are not only Agile enthusiasts, but also great advocates of Agile philosophy. We also have a panel discussion with 3 of industry stalwarts who would ignite our minds with their point of view. Let's welcome Geetu, electronics and communication engineer, a coder from heart, designer, and hardcore technology enthusiast. She is into coding and freelancing from school days and founded her technology startup in her second year of college. Following her passion and growing her company, transforming businesses with technology. Her entrepreneurship journey has emerged into PACE, a multinational IT consultancy serving clients worldwide, aiming to grow businesses using technology, expanding and serving clients globally with an intelligent business model and strategic alliances.
Hello all, my name is Geetu Shivakumar and I run an IT company called PACE based out of Trivandrum. We also have an office in Singapore. Talking about my background, I come from a very normal city in Kerala. It is not a very metro city or anything. It's the capital of Kerala called Trivandrum. And I've come up as a women entrepreneur from my age of 18. And today I would like to speak about women entrepreneurs, women in technology, and the ecosystem surrounding women in technology in India. So I started up my career as a freelancer even from my high school days. From my 8th standard itself, I used to be doing freelance web development and mobile application projects just as a part-time thing. And that time I used to be working for startups or other companies as a part-time job. And I also used to do freelance projects individually for foreign companies also. That is how I actually started up my career. And during that time, I actually realized that how freelancers or employees are being treated by most companies. And I, according to my personal thing, I did not like it so much that I was having so much of pressure of deadlines and the people being bossy around me and all that. And that is a time when I actually thought about what if I had my own thing? What if I was doing uh, my own, I was my own boss. So that is the idea behind starting my own company. After my school days, I joined Government Engineering College Trivandrum for Electronics and Communication Engineering. And in 2011, I was selected as the best web developer of Kerala in a government level competition. And based on that, I got an opportunity to go to Japan for 2 weeks as an ambassador of India. That was a life transforming experience for me. Like, that was the first time I got into a flight. That was the first time I visited a foreign country for 2 weeks, and the technology there. We got to visit a lot of places, and all that made a huge difference to my thinking, the way I thought, and the way I saw my future. After going into college, I used to attend a lot of startup events, business events, and I used to network with a lot of people who were actually into the industry. And one fact I realized while talking to a lot of people in the industry was that most people were not happy with what they were doing. Like most of the people who were working in some company, when I asked them, every time they wanted to shift into another company or they wanted to progress in their career, they constantly wanted to keep on changing. And I also had my experience of being a freelancer and working with startups till then. And then I thought of starting up my own company. And that is how in 2015, when I was in my college second year, I launched my IT company called Pace. So initially, as a women entrepreneur, it was very difficult for me because including my parents, my family, everyone around me was asking me, there are a lot of IT companies around and there is no space in the industry for another one coming in because the market was already very competitive, less competitive than right now because it was about like 6 7 years ago, but still it was competitive. And how are you going to market it? And I don't have any experience. My family doesn't come from a business background. So it was all very challenging for me, and everything that people told me were very negative about how I can survive in the industry. But then I thought, this is what I am good at, and this is what I wanted to do. So I actually wanted to pursue it. And during my college days, I used to bunk a lot of classes. I used to work after hours, after my college hours. I used to do a lot of networking. So initial days were very tough, but then slowly we started building a network and a brand started getting known. And even from my college, they supported me very much, and they used to give the internal projects to me. And slowly we started building up a portfolio. In 2017, I passed out of my college, and that time I had to actually choose between. I actually got placed in 3 companies, so I had to choose between whether I should go for a job or continue with my career. Uh, so that was a very big challenge because everybody around me was saying, "Why are you going for such a risky option? Because you don't have any stability, you don't have a regular income, and after passing out, it is no more that you're a college student; you are into the actual world." So that was a very challenging time for me. But what I decided was I didn't tell anybody because from the time you get placed until the time you join, there is almost a 1 year gap. So that gap I did not tell anybody, and I started slowly working on my company. We took an office, we hired more people, and we slowly started working on marketing. And by the time my placement was about to be ongoing, so by that time we had actually established quite a bit, and we could do a lot of good projects, and we were able to survive. And now it has been about 5 years since I started, and now we have done 500 plus projects across the globe, and we have offices in India and Singapore, and we are planning to start one in Telangana also. Based on my experiences and my challenges, I want to talk to you about women in technology and how I see the industry reacts to women who are trying to do something. So first thing that I feel is that the women in India are usually bound by a lot of laws and a lot of barriers, including the responsibility of creating a family, looking after a family. And from childhood itself, most of the families, they are raising up women saying, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. So my first challenge was to break the barrier. When I wanted to start my own company, that was not a conventional thing. Conventionally, if you go into engineering, the 99% of the people go into placement or they prepare for some higher studies. Starting your own company while you're still in college was not something that was conventional. So that is something I actually took a lot of pressure upon myself to break that barrier and to start that, to take that first step. So I still feel that for women entrepreneurs, especially in technology, because during my college days, I used to go for a lot of hackathons, coding competitions, and in many of the competitions, like hardly 2 or 3 girls will be there, and the entire competition will be filled by boys. And many of the girls will already be feeling very uncomfortable or not very confident because they are surrounded by so many boys, and the number of girls are so low. And even now, like after I established my company, I got invited a few times into coding competitions to be a judge. Even that time, when I see, I don't see so much of a change in that scenario because the number of girls have definitely increased from less than five to it has become to more than five. Uh, but still, the number of girls compared to the number of boys is still low in India. So, but one more thing I've observed is that the skilled women coders, I feel that they bring out very innovative ways and they code extremely well. But even then, they are not able to come up in the industry or establish something on their own. I see the Indian ecosystem and the barriers that are put into women as a reason for that. And breaking the barrier is the first step for any women in technology who wants to do something on their own, whether it is within a company as an entrepreneur or as a full-scale entrepreneur. In both cases, I see that breaking the barriers that society has put on you is the first step. And the second thing I see is that most women don't focus so much on skill development. Not just women, mostly everybody. Once they get into a job or once they get into something that they're comfortable with, within their comfort zone, they forget to invest their time and energy into skill development. And what happens is that within a few years, especially in technology, technology changes extremely fast. Even within a year, the technologies that you are familiar with uh, is vastly changing. So if you are not focusing on skill development, the technologies that you are an expert at will become outdated if you are not updating your own skills. So women, especially because of their other commitments, and sometimes they get into a comfort zone and get into a routine-based lifestyle, they forget to upgrade their skills. And skill development is one of the most important things that anybody, girl or a boy, a woman or a man, or even if you're working in a very good position, you should be taking care of. So once I attended an event called C2C Meet. It is for women who had taken a career break and for their kids or for looking after their children when they were very small. And after 4 or 5 years, when they are getting back into the industry, all the technologies that they were familiar with and everything that they used to be good at has become outdated and they're out of touch. So they're unable to get a job. So I even met with a woman who used to be a bank manager and a zonal manager for a very prominent bank here in India. And after 4 or 5 years of break, she is unable to get a job back. I had actually talked to her because I needed some help with accounts and somebody who would work with me part time. And I saw that she was extremely brilliant. And even for most complicated questions and situations that even my chartered accountant found it very difficult to deal with, she came up with exorbitantly good solutions. But even then, such good people are finding it very difficult to get a job because they have took a break from their career and companies are unwilling to hire them. So I also feel that companies should be a little more open to accepting women who has taken a career break because they always feel that they have chosen something else over their career, so they're not being hired. But in my practical experience, I have hired several women who has taken a career break and I have given them opportunities. And in my experience, they have performed extremely well for them, well in the job that I have entrusted with them, and they really surprised me because I did not expect so much out of them. And the third thing that I want to talk about women in tech is that women should always be having a work-life balance. Mostly when we talk about work-life balance, the first thing that comes to our mind is that we should take some time away from work and give some time for our life also. But in the case of women, I see that it's the opposite. In work-life balance, women should be focusing on their career also as much as their life, because in most cases women tend to give more attention to their life and house and family, and sometimes they skip the work, and in many cases that is the reason why they do not get rehired by a company, and sometimes they don't progress as much up in the corporate ladder. If you see the number of women C-level executives all around the world, the percentage is so low. Or if you take the women managing directors or women CEOs of companies, the number is so low. Even in India, if you think about, I can just think about two names, probably Indra Nooyi and Chanda Kochar, and a few other women. But more than that, I cannot think about. So I think the problem is that the work-life balance where of women, where life gets more priority over their career, is one of the reasons why they don't progress up the corporate ladder. And so that scenario has to be changed, because for gender equality, I think that it is essential that women also get representation in the management of companies, and it is also about the company's attitude towards women that they also have to be considerate about. And in my personal experience, I have always had very good experience with women employees, and the ecosystem surrounding women is the one that actually requires a change for women to progress up the corporate ladder. Uh, Regarding skill development, if I want to point out a few things, because like when go to colleges for giving sessions or interact with other employees in companies, they're always very doubtful about how can you acquire a good skill, or they want me to refer them courses to study so that they can be expert in a particular skill. So I would like to share an experience about how I learned web development when I was still in my school. So that was the time when YouTube and internet was not so prominent. So I used to go to the public library, and there was a series of books called the Complete Reference. You get it for every technology, like for Java, HTML. I used to take that from the library, come home, read the book, type it in my computer, and see the result. And if there is an error, then there is nobody to correct. You cannot ask anybody, and you cannot Google the situation. Because I did not have an internet at my house that time. Uh, so that is the way I learned. So right now, when I think back, I see that it is one of the very innovative or very good ways of learning something, because something that you have actually learned that way, you don't forget very fast. These days in coding, what is happening is we all copy something from Stack Overflow and paste it here. And if there is a doubt, we just ask in some forest, somebody gives us the answer, we just copy paste the code. It is not so much of our intelligence working into it. So that is actually a problem that skill development has right now, and that is why our skills are not developing as good as it was before internet came into place. But I have a different view on this, that internet has so much of resources, so much of tutorial videos that is available. So everybody should actually focus on developing their own skills, not just the skills that they have right now, and they should also be focusing on new technologies that are associated with what you're actually good at. Especially for women, I think that they are the ones who mostly don't focus on skill development because of their other course. So this is something that every girl should focus on. When I actually started my company in 2015, I was not so serious about taking this up as a career, but I actually knew that this is something that I wanted to. But by the time I passed out, I had networked so much. I had hired a few people, not full time as employees, but according to a project basis, I had hired a few people from my college itself, and we started doing projects together. And while marketing these projects, I actually had a very major problem, because this is like a fresher going to an interview, and they're asking you for how many years of experience you have. So when I first started marketing, then people started asking me for my experience and my background, and we found it very difficult to give a portfolio. So that was a very great marketing challenge that I faced in my life. So I have always felt that even entrepreneurs who are coming into the industry as new, they always fear this one thing, that what will we say when they ask for our experience, or what are they going to say when we what are they going to say when we say that we don't have so much of an experience. And I think that this is one of the reasons that keeps many women entrepreneurs from coming up into the industry, because they are actually scared about the marketing challenges that they're going to face. Uh, for this, how I solved it was, we did a lot of portfolio projects, and we did a few projects for some good companies at a very lower cost. I think that was not a good practice to be underpricing yourself. But initially, how I solved it was that I underpriced and did a few projects. But based on those portfolios, I was actually able to build up a uh, good client list. And based on that, companies were actually able to uh, give us more opportunities and more chances to work with them. And the fourth thing that I would like to talk about is funding. And funding is one of the main challenges that keeps women from coming up into the industry or taking something up on their own. Initially, on service industry, I did not face so much of a funding challenge, because ours were service-based projects and we could always take an advance. So the funding was not so much of a problem for us. But for somebody who is coming up with a product idea, definitely they would require funding. So I actually did not face that challenge so much. But right now, there are a lot of opportunities in every state. Almost every state has some kind of scheme to fund startups. And especially for women entrepreneurs, every state definitely has a scheme. And there are a lot of loan schemes available and grants as well. And there are a lot of accelerators in the country who are supporting women entrepreneurs, and even other startups are coming up, even with funding or space requirements or resources, or even the mentoring that you require. So I think that Google is all of our best friends, and all of this we can just Google and find out. And the accelerators and the funding is most underutilized in the country. Even every budget, the central government grants a lot of money for the women entrepreneurs alone, even in the budget. But I wonder how much of that is actually coming into the women entrepreneurs that are actually into doing something, because most of them don't know about it, or else we are unable to access the funds that are actually kept aside for women entrepreneurs. That is a thing that I think that it requires to be utilized, because that is something that the government has set aside for women entrepreneurs, and it definitely has to reach the women entrepreneurs who actually require it. Uh, and also, there is a lot of media portals available where you can sign up your company and get listed there, and then you can start getting inquiries. So these were some of the common questions that I used to get on LinkedIn and everywhere from aspiring women entrepreneurs. So that is why I thought of answering, mentioning those points here in this session. So as a woman entrepreneur, my journey has been very challenging, because in addition to the other technical and management pressures that you encounter, women entrepreneurs also have a social pressure uh, of the barriers that the society has set upon us. So breaking those barriers and building up a company within in a society that has a culture like India, it is quite more difficult for women than somebody who is setting up it in Silicon Valley. So I think that that mentality of the society is something that we need to overcome as women, and it has to be, and those barriers has to be broken, so that we can set more examples for women who are wanting to come up in the industry. Even for working women, it is the same thing. The work-life balance, as I said, career has to be given an important priority as much as life. And somebody who is able to actually keep that work-life balance, where work also gets the important priority, is somebody who will be able to do very good in their career. So with this, I'm very thankful that Globant actually gave me an opportunity to speak on this platform. And I'm very happy that I was able to share some of the thoughts that I actually wanted to share, and something about my experiences and challenges that I faced. I'm hoping that all the women entrepreneurs or aspiring women who want to build a very great career would have got some valuable input from this. And with this, I would like to thank Globant, and I'm wishing them all the very best for the efforts they are taking to build up the ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you, Geetu, for sharing your valuable thoughts. Our next distinguished speaker to honor us with his presence is Dhananjay Gokhale, fondly known as DG, working as a catalyst since last 21 years in the field of PM leadership coaching. Received Man of the Year 2012 award of ABI USA for his work in PM education. Received PMI 2013 Eric Jennett PM Excellence Award, honoring the outstanding contributions and demonstrated leadership advancing project management practices. Founder and former president 2002 to 2008 of PMI India Chapter Pune, the winner of the Best Chapter in the World Chapter of the Year Award. DG has crafted the PM Oath, started an innovative initiative Prakalpataru, created learning interactions, the new concept Balutedar, and coined concept of world of PM with drama. Author of 8 books, Wonderland of PMO, Abridged Guide to PMBOK, Atharva Shirsha Exva Samvad, published so far and 85 hours of edutainment products. Video series on Atharva Shirsha, Balutidar 13 Gems, Agile, Magic 99, 2D animation of PMBOK. DG conducts certificate courses in applying and teaching Atharva Shirsha and Bhagavad Gita. His international works include services at Singapore, Dubai, South Africa, Greece, Saudi Arabia, Chicago, Bangladesh, Australia, China, and Netherlands.
Namaste. Greetings of the day. My name is Dhananjay Gokhale, and you can call me DG. And my number is 98220 The only reason that I'm giving this particular number is in case I wouldn't give the answers or wouldn't give the pathways to the solutions for the problems, for the questions that I'm going to raise during this particular presentation or my sharings, you can definitely contact me on my cell, on my WhatsApp. You can call me on WhatsApp call, WhatsApp message, or on general call as well. Only one request, that you can call me from your cell number so that I can return the call, because I return even personal loan calls as well. Are you seeing one image? Huh? Now, I'll tell you the history later. How did I get this particular image done and all? But this particular image is used in my book. In fact, this is the image that I have get it done for myself in the book that I've written now. The 3rd edition is already sold for that book. It is crafted by Anupam Tathodekar. So, without getting much into the history of this particular image and all, what comes to your mind when you see this particular image? I think I forgot to tell you something. This is not the presentation. This is not the pep talk. Neither this is a lecture. So, one humble request, that please be ready with the pen and paper. And if you feel be ready with the pen and paper is pretty primitive announcement or primitive request or a dinosaurial age request, my only suggestion that you carry writing instrument. That's all. It can be pen and paper, it can be your mobile, or it can be the latest iPad that Apple has launched. So have something to make notes. Because as I said, this is not the presentation. This is not the one-way talk. Although due to the technical limitations, right now I know that you will not be able to answer me in person. I'm assuming that there are live sitting in front of me. But right now you are not able to answer me. So whenever you listen to this particular interaction, which is a dialogue between us, which is the dialogue amongst us, which is foundational, fundamental facilitation for the self-inquiry. So my job is simple. I'm gonna ask few questions, and hence I suggest that please have pen and paper. So the first question that I asked: when you see this particular image, what all things come to your mind? And I will never ask you to publish the answers. Good. Now that you have written the answers, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, but these 4 letters or 4 words, I'm sorry, once upon a time, such magical words. It goes beyond the ages, it goes beyond the religions, caste. It doesn't have any bias. Moment I say once upon a time, people of any age, people of any race, any culture, any religion, any education, they look forward for this. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a duo, Akbar and Birbal. And most of us must be aware about this particular duo, Akbar, the king, and the Birbal, the chief ministers. The chief of the ministers, I would say. So Akbar and Birbal. So it so happened that Akbar's wife, the Begum, continuously pinches Akbar. I don't want to get into the generalized statement, therefore I'm using some proper nouns. The Akbar's wife, the Begum, pinches Akbar, continuously asking, why do you promote Birbal so much? Why do you love Birbal so much? Why do you always praise Birbal so much? Even my brother, that is your brother-in-law, is also equipped, is also competent enough. Why don't you make him the chief of the ministers? Akbar was a very seasoned husband. He knows exactly what not to and how not to answer, and what to answer, how to answer. So he says, yes, what you say is true. Fine, I'll definitely keep this in mind every time he answers in this particular fashion. But there was a lot of pressure from Begum, and Akbar was also looking forward for an opportunity either to go for it or to demonstrate why he is not going for it. So once someone come running to Akbar and says that there seems to be a lot of bullock carts have come to our what I would say, near the boundary. The number seemed to be abnormal. Abnormal in the sense there are lots of bullock carts, and therefore we are immediately informing you. Of course, we have already informed the security minister, but we thought that you should also be informed at once. Having heard that, Akbar calls for his brother-in-law and he says, go check what is happening on the, what is happening, what they're saying. They're saying so many bullock carts are there on the border of Delhi. So go there and check and tell me how many carts are there. Akbar's brother-in-law, shall we give him some name? Sheikh. So Sheikh runs to the border of Delhi and comes running back, and he says, Akbar, master, there are 72 bullock carts. Okay. Akbar asked, did you check what all they carry? He said, no, master, I didn't. Okay, go and check it. He goes running back and comes back and says, look, out of 72, 8 bullock carts, actually they are carrying their own, daily needs and all. Um, Remaining 17 is full of wheat, 12 is full of jawar, uh, 7 to 8 the full of utensils, remaining 9, 9 or 10, it is full of rice, and few there around 11, those are filled with wooden crafts, wonderful crafts. Okay. Akbar says, wonderful. Do you check that why are they going through this? Why they have come through this particular route? Because we haven't never seen them first. Oh yeah, I didn't check that. I'll go back. He goes back. After some time, he comes running. It was by now it is 11:30. 3 times he has already gone back. He's exasperated, full of sweat. He comes back and he tells, yeah, in fact, they got to know that this route is the shorter route, and they have also heard about our hospitality, and they are really eager to see this particular route crossing through Delhi, and they are going to the kingdom which is on our northwest. That's what they are going there. Akbar said, wow, that's fantastic. Did you check, will they be able to um, uh, 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 sell this to us? I really don't know what exactly they want to go through. And so the sheikh said, oh no, I didn't check that. I will come at once, master. He goes. Right. After sixth time, Akbar looks at Begum, and Begum, with a smart face, with a happy face, says, look. Akbar also says yes, and he is getting good information there. After some time, when Sheikh returned for the seventh time, eighth time, Akbar says, good, thank you very much. You got the good information. I'll give the decision. After some time, Akbar sees Birbal walking in, and he calls Birbal. Birbal, I have heard that there are a few bullock carts which are there on the border. Can you go and check? What is it all about? Tell me how many bullock carts are there. Birbal says, yes, master, I will come. Birbal goes. Akbar was also busy in his regular office work and all. Some things were happening. It's almost 45 minutes. Birbal didn't come back. 50 minutes, almost 1 hour touching. Begum came and communicated with Akbar. Look, last time when you checked with my brother-in-law, he came within few minutes. Every time you were asking him to go, he used to go and come back. Akbar said, yes, I am also worried as to why he is taking so much of a time. 60 minutes. And the fact is that I know Birbal is pretty fast in his work. They say this, and Akbar sees Birbal walking in. Akbar says, what happened? It's almost 1 hour. Birbal says, I'm sorry, master. I have some information. If you allow me, I will tell you that. Akbar says, yes, please, go ahead. Birbal says, there are in all 72 bullock carts. I had a good discussion with the chief of the entire Karwa, the entire platoon battalion that they have, the 72 bullock carts. They are actually going through our route for the first time, this particular route, because somebody has told them about our hospitality. They are eager to see how do we run our overall kingdom and all. They are really, really happy to cross through our city, and they are going to the country which is at our northwest. They are carrying wheat, jawar, rice. They are also carrying some household utensils. They are carrying gold ornaments. They are also carrying wooden crafts. They are also carrying some equipments which we need for our farming, and even some other business also. I have made the list. If you wish, you can go through this. However, Jahapana, I have told them something. I have not promised them. Only when you give the decision, I will communicate it back. What I have told them, that I will try. In a sense, I will try with your permission, that if those people can halt, can stay in our city for a day, and if you allow, we can make their stay arrangement. I think we will not charge, if at all you permit. First of all, if you allow us to allow them to stay, and then we will not charge them anything. We will also allow them, we will also make their food arrangement. Let them be there in our city we can allow them for 2 days. And in return, I have also inquired whether they will be able to give us 10 to 15% of discount minimum. Uh, because I have also checked with one of the, I didn't know this, but somewhere I got to know that we are also looking forward for this kind of supplies. And the chief of those 42, 72 bullock carts, he said, why not? Definitely. Because we have not made any contract with the country on the northeast side. It was just a kind of a banging the door kind of sale. So we will be happy if the entire goods get sold over here. And we can definitely give maximum discounts as possible. So, Master, if you allow, probably we can, give them the allowance. They are waiting there for almost 3.5 hours. I had made some arrangement for their, welcome drink and all. But if you allow, we can accordingly guide them. Otherwise, we can quickly give them the pass for the transit, and they will move forward. Just tell me what to do. I don't think I should further talk about it. Akbar looks at his wife. This time, Begum's face actually reflected something which Akbar was telling her. Later, during the evening, while having a cup of coffee, Begum said, I made a mistake. It's not. I should not have done that. Akbar said, hold on. Your brother is definitely competent. Your brother is loyal. Your brother does the work that he has been told to do. I have never seen any inefficiency in your brother. I respect your brother, and you know that's the reason he is in the position where he is. But you tell me now, you have seen these incidents. What do you think? Should we replace Birbal by Begum? Says no, definitely not. Now, question to you. Think, be attentive. Did Birbal demonstrate self-governance? Did Birbal behave independently? I had told you that I will be asking questions. Now, this is the chain of questions now. And I have another 30 minutes left, maximum. I will not go to that level. Let us check. So, my first question was, did Birbal demonstrate self-governance? Did Birbal behave independently? Can we consider Birbal as a self-managed team member? And I am sharing this experience. I am sharing some anecdotes. I am expressing my opinions in Agile conference. And this is the first time I use the word Agile. In Agile, right from whenever I have heard about Agile, I have always heard this particular word, self-managed, self-managed, self-managed. And since then, I am in search of the examples, the metaphors. So I came across this particular story, and therefore I'm asking you, do you feel Birbal demonstrated self-governance? Did Birbal behave independently? Can we consider Birbal as self-managed team member? Can we recruit him? Think. Now, here is an activity, very important activity. I would ask you 4 questions. Out of 4 questions, even if you write an answer of 1 question, that will be sufficient. First question, you have already heard the story of Birbal. I asked you that do you feel that Birbal demonstrated self-governance, Birbal demonstrated independence, or do you feel that Birbal demonstrated self-management? So I have a question. The first question is, what is, in your opinion, self-governance is all about? First question. Second question, what is independence? Third question, what is self-management? And fourth question, if you want to answer, what is a self-managed team? Now, think and write the answers of any one. What is self-governance? What is independence? What is self-management? And what is a self-managed team? I'll wait for 30 seconds. I'll wait for 45 seconds. This is the inquiry. This is the question that we must ask. Because this is an adjective, don't you feel? Self-governed team, independent, self-managed. And moment there is an adjective, we get caught as sitting duck. So let us define what is self-governance. I'll wait. Think over it. Okay. Now probably you will understand why I have started, why I start with this particular phase. Today's topic is by the self, for the self. It's a self-inquiry for collaborative growth. Nowadays, many people talk about Bhagavad Gita. It's a fantastic reference manual. One must refer it continuously. I'm not talking about Bhagavad Gita in this particular session. But Bhagavad Gita can be used as a solid reference manual for living life beautifully. It works in Agile team also. It works for Scrum Masters also. It works for PO also. It works for team as well. Coming back to the topic, by the self and for the self. That's the topic. Quick recap. What we have seen so far? I told you the story of Akbar and Birbal. You heard what Birbal did. We also talked about, we validated whether Birbal demonstrated self-governance, whether Birbal behaved independently, whether Birbal demonstrated self-managed behavior. And then last point was, we tried defining what is self-governance, what is independence, what is self-management, etc., etc. Now, if you have defined in your way what is self-governance, what is self-management, etc., etc., a question. Most of you might be thinking as to who called this speaker. Remember, actually, I'm not speaking with you. I'm helping you to speak with you. If the principle of Agile calls for self-managed team, don't you feel we must speak with self? We must interact with self. We must pay attention to self. And these 45 minutes, I'm becoming an instrument. Although you feel that I am asking some questions to you, it's actually I'm helping you to ask some questions to yourself. And I'm not giving any answers. I will be giving answers to only one question down the line. And later, I'll be asking 25 questions for you to assess. And at the end of it, we will get SMQ, Self Management Quotient. An individual performs the way the individual gets measured. Measurement drives the performance. So if you want to perform in a self-managed way, don't you feel that we should be able to measure it? If we want to measure it, don't you feel we should be able to define it? If we want to define it, don't you feel that we should ask the question as to how can we define it? And if you want to define such principles, don't you feel we also should identify some things which demonstrate how one should not be? If this is the case, then I would uh, request you to mull over this particular question. Do you remember any incidents where or when you have behaved totally against of what you have just described or what you have just defined? Because all those people who are answering the questions that I'm asking, all those people who are actually demonstrating the self-managed behavior by being not only physically present in this presentation, not only being physically present in this dialogue, but actually emotionally and intellectually being immersed. And that is the first step of management of the self, that I have a choice to get into this particular dialogue. Nobody has forced me to get into this particular dialogue. And having got into this particular dialogue, if I'm not following something that a community is trying to do, then am I self managed? So, those people who are actually trying to answer the questions, for them, I'm asking this question. And I can guarantee you that this will definitely help you. Do you remember any incidents where, when you have behaved totally against of what you have described? Whom did you behave in not in self-managed way? No need to narrate the incidents. Just remember. I'll wait for 30 seconds and then we'll move forward. Another few seconds. So, why this self-inquiry is necessary? When we proclaim that a team needs to be self-managed or team is self-managed, either way, what does that really mean? What does self-management mean? Does it mean not depending on anyone or on anything? Or would the words like sovereignty, self-governance, or self-reliance would be more appropriate to define self-management? These are my questions. Is any team sovereign or self-managed unless the members there are so? So when we say the team needs to be self-managed, don't you feel that an individual must be so? If we want individual must be so, then we need to know what is it all about. So self-managed or self-management is not a state, neither it's an action. It's actually the mindset of not only self-governance, but mindset of self-governance for collaborative growth. When self-management doesn't pay attention to collaborative growth, it becomes selfish behavior. So selfish behavior plus focus on collaborative growth, or vice versa. How many of us remembered the incidences where we have behaved not in self-managed with our own self? I'm sure you must have remembered at least one incident when I asked you the question. Now, let's go through these particular incidences. Do you feel that these are the incidences where we actually behave in non-self-managed way? Here are some examples. I underestimated myself, my capabilities. I was not alert. I procrastinated the work. I parked my two-wheeler on a side stand. I did not give dedicated time to myself. I did not validate the assumptions during estimates. I underestimated myself and my capabilities. I did settle for less than excellence performance. I did not take the ownership of my work and its after effects. I did not retrospect. I did not draft lessons learned. Now, don't you feel all these actions that I'm narrating here or I've listed here, they are the examples of betrayal of self management? Aren't they against the self management? If I don't believe in myself, am I self managed? If I'm not alert, can I remain self managed? If I don't learn, is there any use of being self managed? If I don't take the ownership of my work, am I not irresponsible? So, to me, if you ask me, what is the definition of self management? This is what I have defined it for myself. I feel vigilant and integrated actions, including thoughts and feelings. When I say integrated, including thoughts and feelings, leading to peace within and excellence outside, while achieving collaborative growth means self management. That's what I feel. I, as an individual, many people have asked me, what do you mean by self management? I have also asked many people, what do you really mean by self management? People have given lots of examples, people have given lots of actions, people have given lots of demonstrations, illustrations. But when somebody is asking definition, we must communicate the definition and not the action. And if you really ask me, from where did I get this particular definition? It is given in Bhagavad Gita. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Peace within. Either in success or failure, at par, same. Balance yourself. Have peace within. But not the complacency. Tasmat yogaya yujyasva. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Therefore, dedicated actions are necessary. Focused actions are necessary. And be skillful. So one side I need to remain peaceful, another side I need to remain skillful. So peace within and excellence outside. However, those two must contribute towards collaborative growth. And if we are able to develop individuals like this, our teams will be self-managed and we will really be able to implement Agile in its letter and intent. Now, having defined the self management, let us go for SMQ. What do you mean by SMQ? Index of self management. Now, I will only demonstrate few things because I've already touching the limit of the 45 minutes. There are 25 questions that I have developed. If you wish, you can contact me. I will show all quickly. Those who want to quickly assess themselves can do that. Self-management quotient helps to measure the self-management in a quantitative way. It also therefore helps to improve systematically on the area of self-management. So let us do that quickly, one by one, all of us. I will be letting you know how would you rate it. It goes like this. We will use this reverse swing scale. I have developed it in 2005. A lot of organizations use it for competency assessment. You will rate the question 4 when you believe that it happens very naturally. You will score 3 when you feel that it happens when you are alert. You will understand on your own when you see the question. Don't remember this. 2, when you are not at all aware of such things. The question itself is new to you. The concept explained in the question itself is new to you. And you will score 1 when you feel that it happens very rarely, almost tending to nil. So let us go forward. Each question you will not take more than 10 seconds, because if you take more than 10 seconds, there is a high chances of corruption. So 4 questions on each slide. There will be 6 slides like this. Quickly, first question. Do I restate? So this question you must ask to yourself and quickly make a note of score 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 means it happens naturally. 3 means you have to be alert if you have to get it done. 2 means you never understand that or you don't know this. And 1 means you do it very rarely. Do I restate, clarify the work thoroughly before embarking on? 4, 3, 2, 1. Do I work enthusiastically? Mark scores, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do I anticipate the positive and negative impacts and consequences of the work in hand? Do I accept the responsibility of the work and the impacts and the consequences of the work? So I'm sure you have understood what I'm up to. Now, don't you feel Birbal did all these things? He clarified himself before he jumped on that particular work. It was not just counting the cards. Akbar sitting at the throne is not asking you how many cards there. You must think in this particular manner. Did he do enthusiastically? So now connect these questions with the story that I started with, and connect this question with respect to your behavior. And don't cut off the behavior in office, in work, in office with this fellow, in office. No, it is across. Right? Quickly now. Next set of questions. Do I define the completion criteria? Definition of done for the task that I work upon individually, in my even personal work. Do I anticipate both helping and obstructing incidences that might happen during the work? Four, three, two, one. Do I keep myself ready for the constrained environment impacting the work? Always, when I'm alert, I don't know this. Rarely. 4, 3, 2, 1. Do I capitalize on the opportunities that helps the completion of work? Good going. Third, do I identify and acknowledge all the inputs and contributors in terms of tools, infrastructure, people, principles, and processes? Do I take the actions necessary to maintain the enthusiasm and harmony in the relationship? Do I follow the process with intrinsic willingness? We'll do one thing. I'll go through the remaining quickly so that you will understand what do you mean by self-management. And if you want this, you can definitely visit this particular website or write to me. I will send across the lecture notes to you. This is just a beginning. So I sincerely wish you to go through these particular questions and tell me what is your SMQ. So If you have done the scoring till 10, you can calculate the total score and divide it by 40. Or be with me, I'll quickly complete this. Do I follow the processes with intrinsic willingness? Let's increase the speed. 4, 3, 2, 1. Do I work on process improvement whenever necessary? Do I define the problem clearly? Do I keep myself emotionally unattached while defining the problem? Do I define what is not the problem while defining the problem? Do I share the problem with partner, team openly without taking any sides? Do I find and seek the help from the resources, experts to get the problems resolved? Do I define, visualize the situation once the problem is resolved before identifying the solution? Do I visualize the end state after the problem? That's what the question is. Do I keep possibly necessary trade offs ready without hampering the mission? Do I have the mission for myself? And the last, do I identify the motivating factor in the mission of self or that of the organization? What is in this mission motivates me? Do I know that? All the time? When I am alert? I don't know this happens. Rarely. 4, 3, 2, 1. Do I identify differences and similarity between my mission and that of organization? Do I craft vision for the self? Do I use mission statement to come out of dilemma? Lots of dilemma are sorted out if we have a very clear mission statement. Do I measure the progress in the context of the vision statement? Vision is the end state. How do I measure myself? How close or far I am from the vision? So I know I have asked a lot of questions to you, but this is how probably we must go into the depth of the self-management rather than just proclaiming Agile needs self-management team, self-managed team, self-management team, and seeing the two-wheelers being parked on the side stand in the parking lot and claiming that Agile is being successful. It's fake. So let us go into the depth of it. Let us go to the roots to make the wings more stronger. And today I tried to present quantitative measurement or quantitative way to pay attention to how can I improve upon the self-management. Now all those people who have scored each statement, you can total score. Now if you have score all 25, you can divide it by 100. If you have score only 20 questions out of 25, you can divide it by 80. If you have scored only 15 out of 25, you can divide it by 60. What do you mean by 60, 80? 15 questions, maximum marks available are 4. So 60. 25 questions, maximum score possible is 4. So 100. So your total score divided by number of questions solved multiplied by 4. That's all. Now, if you want this, you let me know. I will send across the lecture notes to you. Because this is the need of the time. We must get out of these adjective words. We must come out of it and we must measure. So, to conclude, on the left hand side, you are seeing the Agile prayer, which has come from Rigveda, which I have connected it to Agile. In today's session, we jointly evolved the implications of the words like independence, self management, self governance, self reliance. We determined the quantitative measure of index for such of on the self management, enjoyed the introspection that would help us in our day to day life. Agile prayer goes like this: may we move in harmony, speak in one voice. Sangachadvam samvadadvam. Let our minds be in agreement. Samvo manansi janatam. May our purpose be the same. Samano mantra samitis samani. May we all be of one mind. Samanam manah sahachittamesham. Samaniva akuti samana rudayanivaha means may our intentions and aspirations be alike so that a common objective unifies us all. Now, don't you feel unless I pay attention to myself, unless I try to become self managed individual, the one who takes vigilant and integrated action to achieve, to seek peace within and excellence outside for the collaborative growth. Will it be possible? If we want to be together in Agile or otherwise also, I need to be together with myself. And hence, management of the self is important. Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. Thank you so much for your patience here. If you have any questions, you can contact me on the numbers that I have already told. Again, 98220 Thank you so much.
Thank you, DG, for sharing your profound knowledge with us on the agile centric human. I would now like to introduce Jaideep Das, an IT management professional with 20 years of experience having global certification like PMP, SAFE, PMI, ACP under his credit. Jaideep has worked with different IT organizations like Infosys, Tarantula Global, Vertex Computers. Jaideep is an author of the bestseller book God, The Best Friend and Guide, and the author of white paper in PMI National Conference.
Hello everyone. Now friends, one question to all of you. What is the basically problem what is the problem statement? We see that nowadays a lot of dynamics, the market in the market and the business everywhere there there is a lot of chaos also at the same time. Dynamism is changing very fast. The solution which we are working out very nicely earlier, those same solutions are not working out, might be currently, right? We are thinking out or looking out for new solutions. So what is the main problem statement? Is it that the technology which bringing up the disruption, or is it the people? Now let me bring over here that what gurus are basically in the of the industry is talking about, and I call it evolving thought process. And one of the very profound statement which has basically stuck my heart, it's by Ken Shower, Agile Guru. He is telling that the problem we face is nothing to do with the process or the technology we are going to use, right? Or we use. It is mainly with people. Those who have worked in this industry for a longer time, they will definitely wow by this statement that technologies or process comes and go, but people stay. and a lot of time the problem we face is related to people. So this is one of the thought by Ken Shower. The next evolving thought process which I would like to bring to you is that Bruce Kasanoff, who is an author, he's basically telling that people are what matter most in the business. A lot of time we see uh, around us, different organizations, a lot of time prominence is given to profit, making margins, a lot of other stuff. But in the long run, those organization which gives values to their people, the customer, I think they win the game in the long run. I think things are also changing a lot. We are coming or becoming more human in on the way. So this is one of the thought by Bruce Kasanoff, that people are most important, and those who are working with you, employees, most important and has to be taken care. And same statement is basically sentiment is uttered by Virgin owner also. Now, next, another statement which I found very profound over here in this evolving thought process, I would like to bring a notice is that is by Charles Sandy, who is an author and philosopher. He's basically telling that we have to forget our old way of thinking and we need to think new way of future. The methodologies, the system, the principles, whatever we have used till now, or the management process is telling that it's time that we forget those things and come out with new way of thinking and new way of dealing with those problems. That is what he's telling, Charles Sandy. And here exactly I want to the relevance of the topic which I'm talking about makes sense, and I'll come to this point little later. But before that also, let us try to see another point. If we see around us, what is the intangible trend we are seeing? Lot of automations are going on. The manual effort, the manual job we use or normally we do is getting replaced by automation. And this trend is basically up. It is going up. The manual efforts earlier, we used to see that people, customer care, people used to be, whenever we used to make call or we used to need any information, we used to call people who used to reply after seeing database and all those things to us and solve our query. But nowadays most of the portals or business site, if you go, we find that the first level inquiries are being handled by robots, basically called chatbot, right? And chatbot is nothing but a programming language and which has replaced the job of human being to a certain extent. So we are seeing that a lot of mundane works, routine effort which human being normally we used to do is getting replaced by automation, and this trend is up. Another point which I want to bring over here, that how technology is gradually taking its place in our life and things are changing, right? If we see the red box over here, couple of years back, 10-15 years back, we used to see in nook and corners of our streets, shops, this machine was there. PCO used to call, that we used to go there to make calls to our near and dear ones, right? We call it PCO. But with the advent or invention of mobile network, this particular machine or technology has, it has become an primitive or species, or it is extinct. We can call it like a dinosaur. It is not there anymore. This is how the things are changing, and it is an example from the past that we nowadays don't see. PCOs might be very rare, otherwise everybody is having mobile, either it is high end smartphone or low end, but we are having that facility or technology has given that this particular machine has extinct. This is how it is changing. Avalanche of future change, what is going to happen? I think we are talking about if we see the right hand side, that we see traffic police And whenever we want to go outside nowadays, we book cab and driver comes for picking us, right? Picking up us to drop somewhere. So driver, then traffic police, we are accustomed seeing them. But at the same time, we know that scientists or people are working on inventing or producing automated car, right? Which will be driven by itself programmatically. And once this automated car is on the market successfully, mass production will happen. We can assume, all of us, that these jobs which we are seeing, that traffic police or might be the driver, this job will now no more available in the market. It will not be there. It will go off. It is a replacement, right? Automated car will come automatically. These jobs will not be there in the market anymore. So this is how the changes are happening. The technology is coming and future changes is going to happen. Similarly, there are genomes, there are blockchain, there are other technologies are gradually coming and taking their place in our life. And another point I want to bring over here to all of you notice that we are talking about automated car, but is the concept or is the technology is new? I don't think that it's no. If those who have read Ramayana, they will definitely know that in Ramayana there is a mention of Pushpak vehicle, basically automated aeroplane. When Rama defeated Ravana and he wanted to go back to his kingdom, Ayodhya, uh, he borrowed this particular aeroplane which is called Pushpak and which was driven, that is automatically it used to drive. No driver was there, or um, nobody was there to you know basically drive it. It was an automatically driven machine. So that Pushpak vehicle mention is there in the Ramayana. So there is a link. We have to think it out. So anyway, we're coming to the point that technology is coming and technology is going to replace a lot of job which we are nowadays seeing. And this picture I found it very, very interesting. And if you see this, that one human being is working and surrounding that lady, a lot of robots are there. And I think future it is going to be like that. I was going through one of the article that it was saying the how is the future? Is it that human being or robots? Might be we have to think it out. It might be coexistence or whatever it is. But this picture is saying that lot of robots, lot of replacement, lot of going to take our place. Then how we stay relevant? The question is that how we stay relevant? How we are going to make sense in this uh, change which is coming, impending change is going to happen. And here comes the Bhagavad Gita, right? The Agile and Bhagavad Gita I'm going to talk about. If you see over the tussle, the picture is very relevant. The tussle is there. Either it is robot or human being. But again, as I was telling that the research is saying that it's, we have to live in a collocation. It will be cobot basically, coexisting bot, right, with human being. Robot will complement human effort and human will uh, improve their productivity or efficiency with the help of robot. This is how the future is going to look. Now, where this to remove this tussle, I think here Agile and Bhagavata is going to make a sense over here. Now, if we see, if Agile tells us what to do, Bhagavad Gita basically tells us how we are going to achieve that. This is the point I want to bring in over here, that Agile tells us what are the things we have to do for our better productivity, delivery, and all these things. And Agile Bhagavad Gita is going to help us to create that mindset. How part is going to handle by the Bhagavad Gita. Those who are aware of Agile, they know it, and those who are new to Agile concepts, the complete concept I've just divided into 4 main components. I've just left aside the delivery part, execution part, iteration, and other stuff. But main component of Agile, if I understand, and which has basically uh, helped me to adapt to it is that mindset change. One first, right? A lot of time in during my career, I have seen that whenever we used to deliver customers requirement and we used to work for a couple of months and then go back to customer and try to deliver, and if that time, if changes are coming or customer is asking a lot of changes, normal human tendency that a lot of time I've seen that teams or anybody is getting a little bit of frustrated that why this so many type of changes, so many changes are coming. So but Agile tells that you have to be ready with that mindset, so accepting change, flexibility, adaptability, the number of iterations, we have to be ready and should be able to meet that. Yes, there is a lot of other factors, but you have to be ready to do it happily. That is the mindset Agile wants us to create. At the same time, another major component which Agile talks about is continuous learning. Earlier we used to think that I have done my education, I have completed certain degree certification, things are done. No, Agile is basically telling that it is a continuous learning. We have to go through every day something new we have to learn. Another important point Agile talks about is the collaboration rather than competition. Collaboration. Earlier every time we used to talk about compete with this customer, compete with this organization, but Agile is telling that collaborate and give better. And at the very last is that human value, whatever we are doing, either our delivery, either project, interaction, everywhere, but the end result is that we are here to enhance the human value out of these things. That is what Agile is. And I hope this makes sense. Those who are new to this concept, these are the main components. Now, before I take the synchronization of Bhagavad Gita with Agile, this picture I would like to talk about for a minute over here. Let us see this picture. Lord Krishna is a charioteer of our Arjuna who is going to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. It is this particular battlefield which is chaotic, which is dynamic, no certainty. No one knows that the next moment somebody will be surviving or living or dying. In that chaotic situation, Lord Krishna has given some perennial wisdom or advice to Arjuna to do his job in a right way. And here the Bhagavad Gita was born. And how we see that Agile, when we talks about, it talks about that it fits more in a chaotic situation or chaotic place to implement those principles. In a chaotic environment, Bhagavad Gita came up from the mouth of Lord Krishna, giving advice, giving guidelines to a depressed soul or soul who has lost his direction. Similarly, if we see that in a marketplace, in a business environment where things are nowadays a lot of chaotic, lot of dynamism, Agile also tries to bring the same thing, that it gives us direction in a better way. So that is the synchronicity over here. Now, how does Bhagavad Gita basically help? If we see the industry for last couple of years, 10 years, 15 years, we'll see that we spoke a lot about intelligent quotient, I quotient. Whose I quotient is more, he is much more better and going to perform better. With time, with decades, we have seen that we have started giving understanding the importance of emotional quotient along with intelligent quotient. Intelligent quotient, intelligent person, good. But at the same time, a person who is having emotional quotient, more and more emotional quotient, the success rate is more. And that's why we need emotional quotient, and lot of education, lot of studies, lot of training is being conducted around emotional quotient. Now I am coming to the point to highlight over here that the future is not far when industry, organization as a whole will start realizing that along with intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, spiritual quotient is much more important. Those who are with spiritual mindset, they are going to do much better result and much better, not only productivity, I think as a whole, to make the culture better, spiritual quotient is important, and that comes from the higher consciousness. Now in Bhagavad Gita, there are there is four aspect we talk about over there, to four quadrants of life we spoke about. It has been spoken about four quadrant of life in Bhagavad Gita. One is dharma, then artha, kama, and moksha. And we'll try to understand what is this four quadrant of life cycle which has been spoken in Bhagavad Gita, and how it guides us to drive our life, to lead our life. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. If we see, dharma is the principle. You a sheep which does not have any compass, it will float on the sea, but does not have any destination. It will not go anywhere. It will just float around here and there, but it does not have any particular principle to guide. It needs compass. It needs some values over there, right? So dharma is that particular component of our life with which we'll be guided. Purpose, it needs something in life to do. That is, everybody is unique, and they have different purpose in life to do something or achieve something. Similarly, it is not only for any particular person, it is about organization, it is about country, everywhere it implements. And when purpose is there, there should be some drive or desire to achieve something, right? Either it is at a personal level, it's organization level, or country level, or society level. There will be principle, there will be purpose and drive or desire to drive the whole cycle gambit. And with all those things comes the liberation or growth. This is how our life moves. Every person is guided by some kind of principle. Some purpose will be there for each of our life, and we will be driven by desire and drive. And each time we do something with these three component, we achieve something, we grow. Either we fall, then also it is a growth, and ultimately the drive is toward the liberation or happiness. The same concept we can bring into Agile and try to see that what does those four components means in case of Agile delivery. When we are saying principle, if we see in Agile, we speak about customer satisfaction more, right? Whatever we do, ultimate goal or ultimate principle or dharma is that whatever we are doing, it should satisfy the customer. And what is the purpose? To deliver more and more value to the customer. So delivering value to the customer is more important. And what is the hidden desire or drive should be there, that continuously learning, and we are trying to achieve the excellence. So this, the karma component of this particular quadrant aligning with Agile is that continuous learning and reaching out for excellence. When these three components are amalgamated and brought about in any project delivery or program delivery, you will find that the liberation and growth part is that it is going to give better value with personal and professional improvement or growth. And this is the moksha part. If those principles we are able to understand, assimilate within ourselves, definitely the culture of an organization improves. And when culture of an organization improves, the people of that organization delivers much better to the customer. And the relationship between customer and organization improves. Need of the hour is that holistic approach. When you come out of this, what is needed? See, one car is there, and if the four wheels have a different direction to move, the car will not go anywhere. That we everybody understand, right? Now that's why a holistic approach or holistic guidance is required. Now let us try to understand what is holistic approach. There's a huge jungle is there, and people are going, taking trees, and taking out branch, taking fruits. This is the normal way that we do it, right? We take out from jungle. But if human being rather than just taking what nature is giving, they become greedy. We'll see that what is happening nowadays, mm, you know, uh, in the society or in the name of civilization. We're cutting down trees after trees, jungle after jungle is going or vanishing, and we call it development. And this is what exactly happening. But Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita told that this is not basically development. Development is when we will take something from the nature, but at the same time, we will be thinking about future generation. We'll be storing, we'll be conserving for our future generation to come. We'll take what is needed, but at the same time, we'll try and think about others. That kind of approach is called holistic approach. Not just about my profit, my gain, and rest I don't see. It is not a proper way of doing work. Somewhere in one of the article I have read that we are talking nowadays more and more about automation, RPA, and other stuffs, and we try to save FT, and this kind of concept is coming. And with this, uh, sponsor is coming, money is coming, we spend and we create something. But at the same time, there is a lot of jobs which are going out. People are losing job. If simultaneously we are not thinking about the other part of the area where people are losing job and trying to give them opportunity, then it's not an holistic approach. Losing, taking out job and just making profit is not a solution. We have to think from a higher angle that whatever we are doing, if it is giving benefit to one section of people, there should be some alternative measure to come out and give and balance that. That is holistic approach, and that is exactly Sri Krishna spoke about in Bhagavad Gita, that while you take and think of your benefit, you think of others also. If you are cutting down or trying to make your house by cutting down trees, if you're taking one tree or cutting down one tree, you try to plant 10 or 100 trees. That is what holistic approach is. So that approach we can reach by implementing these four quadrant of life, where principle should be there should be purpose, it should be driven by some karma, and what is that moksha, liberation. It's not just holding or gathering something. It's not that purpose. It's not an holistic way of doing work. Now, how to achieve this? How do we achieve all these things? I like this basically picture very much, and I think in all of us, within all of us, there is a superman or superwoman. And if you see this picture over here, this girl, little girl, is about to fly like a superman and make a or bring a change in this world. So, how to achieve? The question is that we have seen that there are. We talk about bottom up approach, we talk about top down approach. So these two approach to synchronize these two concept of agile and Bhagavad Gita, what we are talking about, I'll just try to keep and try to put in front of you in this two perspective, bottom up approach and top down. Last 15-20 years, if we see that when we start talk about project delivery and other stuff, we've seen that we try to implement or follow waterfall model, and still we are doing it, still we use it. But with time, we have seen that Agile has come into place. Agile is talking about some of the methodologies principles to do our job in a much better way. Then there are ITIL, there are Prince 2, CMI, and Agile came, tried to change the market, the way we do the work, and then we see that still the problem is not solved. We try to improve it, came up with safe Agile. We speak about disciplined Agile, then there is design thinking. So all this different way of solving problem, human mind is trying to figure it out, and it solves a particular area, then some other area some problem is there. And all these attempts, I term it as a bottom up approach. We are trying to do something from the bottom way of solving it. From the lower level, we try to solve and give some solution. That is the bottom up approach. Now, what is top down approach? Top down approach, from my angle, when we start working, start looking from an organization, from a culture, from a society, from a higher consciousness, and try to look from the spiritual quotient or from spiritual level, and then try to look into problem and solve it. That I call it, top down approach. Everything will fall in place and every solution will be perfect if we think from that angle. So spiritual question should guide emotional and then intelligent area of our existence. Then only we'll get much better result. And that particular approach I call top down approach. Now if you see that how I'm why I'm talking about this in while studying about agile, while trying to understand much better way what agile is talking about, I have seen that in one area it is talking about that human being have to understand themselves, self awareness, creating self awareness, and the more we understand ourselves, we can manage ourselves better. And once we manage ourselves better, we'll be able to manage or have social skills. With that, we'll be able to create a social awareness where you know the uh, the way we behave, the way we talk, the way we handle things will be better, much better. And that's why self awareness has been given a much importance in agile. And when we are talking about self awareness, without spiritual concept or spiritual understanding, will not be able to reach to the point which it is intended to be. That's why this particular slide is very important, where self awareness and self management makes a much bigger importance in this top down approach. And there we have to go to the root of spiritual understanding. In this top down approach, while you're talking about, we have to understand human being. If you see the last couple of years, might be 10-15 years, when there was a traditional project management or traditional way of project management, there was a lot of command and controlling kind of handling the projects. Then came agile and it started talking about that you have to empower your, it's not just directing or guiding or controlling the team. There has to be empowerment of the team. Then only they will spontaneously do much better work. That is what agile is talking about, empowerment of the team members. Then we started talking about design thinking. It is talking about human touch. Rather than more and more technology touch, it's talking about human touch. We are talking about much bringing human values. So human being is coming to the center core of all the discussion. And if we see and try to understand from human perspective, our shastra has already, our scriptures have already spoken about human being, and there are 5 layers. It's a layer, it's not the physical, it is the layer of energies that is talking about. And the bottom one is the anandamaya kosha, that is annamaya kosha. The bottom level is the physical layer, physical body. We call about Annamaya Kosha. And then we have the Pranamaya, that is the energy body. Then Manmaya Kosha, which is emotional. Then Vigyanmaya Kosha. And the at the last is the Anandamaya Kosha. So these are the 5 koshas human entity or human existing is built up. And it is very important that we understand this particular concept. The same concept can be taken to our industrial revolution also. And let us try to understand where we stand in that angle. If we see that top-down approaches, this graph is, the orange color is going up. If you see that diagram which I have made over here, during 19 1870, or during that period, steam locomotive, we used to talk about more about this, that revolution was going on in the 19th century, that is 1870, 1860, 70s, 1700. A lot of steam locomotive, those kind of revolution was going on throughout the world was changing. And that industrial revolution, if we talk about it, it's a materialistic change, right? Annamaya, that level is the lower one, the Annamaya change or Annamaya kosha. From 20s 2000 or something, that period, if you see that there is a drastic change, the kind of industry we are running, more of computers, digitization and all those things, internet has come into place. And that particular industrial revolution we call information age, information industry, information revolution, right? So it is, if you see, or the analogy over here, the pranamaya course, more about information, and we are standing over here. Information, more of our business and all these things are the information level. We are standing, but gradually we are going to the higher level, psychological power and flow. This is going to come. This is how it will be going and happening more and more. This is how things are going to change. Either we want or don't want it, this is how the change is going to happen. From the materialistic, we have come to the information age. Then information age, it will go to the next level. Now, if we study more, over here, then to do these changes, we have seen a lot of examples during our tenure, that Kingfisher, Satyam, and all these things, right? We try to gain more profit, more power, but if our mind or intelligence are not guided properly, we take all our attempt to a downturn, and we do something wrong. Here, the guru of Paramahansa Yogananda, Yukteswarji, the first picture, I liked his statement very much, and that's why I thought that I will highlight it over here in front of you all. And he's saying that intelligence is rightly guided only after mind has acknowledged the inescapability of the spiritual law. Again, he is giving the emphasis on the statement that if intelligence is rightly guided and it understands that spiritual law is important and whatever we do, then only the intelligence will be guided in the right direction. Mind has to understand. Our mind has to acknowledge that the spiritual law, we can't avoid it. And once that understanding is there, then only intelligence will be guided in the right direction. Otherwise, there is a knife can be utilized for saving a patient by doctor. Again, a knife can be used by a bad person for killing somebody. Tool does not is neither good or not bad. It is only the person who is going to use with his intelligence, with his conscience, makes it good or bad. I think this statement tells the exactly same. Mind has to acknowledge the spiritual law. So we as a human being have to understand what is spiritual law. Then only our business, our industry, whatever the profit, whatever the margins you're talking about makes sense. Otherwise, we today or tomorrow or near future will understand that our attempts are going to not make fruitful results. So our intelligence has to be guided by the spiritual law. That is what Yukteswar is basically making a point over here. And how the world is changing. If we try to understand over here, we talk about physics, but things are changing to the metaphysics. The more and more we study, the more and more we study about physics, quantum physics, and quantum theories, we find that physics is basically the changes are there to the metaphysics. And what is basically that digitization we are talking about nowadays? Synchronization we are trying to do from the physical and digital world, right? We are trying to that digitization, we are bringing or trying to bring the physical world much closer with the digitization. That is what we are trying to do. IoT, blockchain, we are talking about whatever the physical existence are there. We are trying to connect and make the connect with the digitization, with this digital transformation. And that's where this IoT is coming, blockchain is coming. But there has to be a guidance by the spiritual understanding also. So if Internet of Things are going to rule our life, we are going to be ruled by blockchain and these kind of concepts. I have come up with one term called SOT, that is spirituality of things. If digital world can connected with the physical world with the word or with the terminology or with the concept of IoT, Internet of Things, blockchain, we are talking about blockchain. We know that blockchain is basically a network or network of people or network of uh, data, the way it has been devised that everything, whatever the changes we do within this network, gets locked. Nobody can going to break it. Nobody is going to change it until and unless everybody is uh, agreeing on that. The same thing, the concept is there in our, in the concept of spirituality, is called akashic records or cosmic records. Whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever the activity we do, everything gets recorded. And that is, I think, bigger blockchain, bigger consciousness blockchain. We understand or don't understand, but as a human being, as a entity of this universe, we are always creating or being a part of a bigger blockchain, which is called consciousness blockchain. This is what I believe. So if in a physical level we are able to create IoT, a blockchain, then there is, which depends on our understanding that whether we realize it or not, but there is something called SOT, spirituality of things. The better we understand, the better we will be able to lead and deliver our things. And I have spoken about this spirituality of things in my book, God the Best Friend and Guide. There is a chapter in which I have spoken about this concept of spirituality of things. Now, we have discussed about the movement of world evolution from physics to metaphysics and the synchronization which is happening between the physical digital world and spiritual world, IoT, blockchain. As a human being, if we see, it is a manifestation of non-manifested entity into the manifested one, and then again going back, non unmanifested to manifested, and then unmanifested again. So if you see the word nowhere, you break it, now here, so we are here again, and again will be a place where will be nowhere. This is how our human journey is happening. Now, to bring what Agile is talking about, Agile is trying to bring those principle of mindset change. Is it so easy that we get it? Why we are finding so many difficulty that a lot of time this beautiful concepts does not produce that result which we are going to get? There is a struggle because the mindset is not ready. We are not able to understand what is required, and to achieve that, all those four components of Agile: mindset change, continuous learning, collaboration. Though we talk about collaboration, we know that somewhere in the heart we are not able to accept it. Our greed, our self-interested vested interest does not allow us to implement those beautiful concepts in our organization, in our workplace, and we suffer because of our vested interest. How to implement? That implementation come from a higher level. When in our consciousness, we are in the higher level of consciousness, it will be easy for us to implement those things. And for this, Gita has three principles. There are a lot of Mahabhakyas we call, right? Those or great sentences are there. Perennial human business guidelines, I call it. Three principles are there. Gita is talking about. Ahang Brahmashmi, it is saying that as a human being, we are the Brahma or Tat Tom Asi. You are that particular entity, right? This is what he's talking about. In one of his book, Mani Bhaumik, he's talking that the greatest crime which one can do or one human being can do to the other human being, when we are saying that other person, or that we say to the other person that is nothing or she is nothing, you don't have any value. That is the greatest crime you are going to do, because the scriptures are telling that every individual, every entity, every individual, every human being is made under the or in the image of God. If everybody has been made or created in the image of God, everybody is important. Everybody has that quality or USP to deliver something or the other. How can we say that somebody is not good? If somebody is, in my till now, I have seen that might be out of 1,000, 1% will be intentionally not willing to do something, but rest 99.99% of individual is there to prove their metal or prove themselves capable of doing something. then how can we go and tell somebody that somebody is not good or somebody is not capable of doing something? It's not true. It is our interest that we make those statements. Ahang Brahmashmi. Everybody is capable, and we have to, through our delivery, through our project, if along with delivery and profit, we empower people, if we make people powerful or make them realize their potential, which Maslow spoke about self actualization, I think that is going to make sense. There is enormous potential and power in each human being. Need is manifestation of the power. That is the main essence which we all should talk about while we are talking about organizational profit, business profit. I think if we keep that central theme in our work culture, things will automatically change. And another point over here is that Atmanang Moksharthang Jagat Hitayacho. Yes, as a human being, as a person, I would like to see my own interest, but at the same time, I have to take care that I am doing good for others. Same goes for organization. Any organization, if they are looking for their own benefit or profit at the same time, they have to keep in mind that without doing good to others, no clever measurement or no clever steps. Honesty. They have to do good to their themselves, but at the same time, organizations honestly have to take care of other people also, benefit also. That's the terminology is talking about. Second term is Atmanang Mokshartang Jagatitecha. And third, but not the least, is Yoga Karmasha Kaushalam, that every people, every organization has to basically drive in such a way that every individual in the organization is capable of doing work efficiently, skillfully. And that is what Gita is talking about with the line called Yoga Karmasha Kaushalam, that art of working skillfully is yoga. So if these three principles, if we can bring and try to see the similarity with Agile is talking about mindset change, then continuous learning, collaboration, we can see that this concept can be practiced and implemented, and it will help us to drive into that direction and to achieve what we are intending to achieve through our agile. And we see that things are changing. Actually, in the industry, things are changing very fast. We are talking about agile, then came about safe agile. It is trying to solve a bigger problem. Then we see disciplined agile is there, it's trying to come up with some other concept. Not basically concept is same, but a better way of doing it. Then design thinking is there. But if we go down to the bottom, it is what? It is the human being, it is the manpower is there behind it, and each manpower, there is a potential and power is there, unmanifested power is there. If we help as a human being, as an organization, each human being to reach their potential, reach their power, empower them, which Maslow is talking about self actualization, what we ought to be, I think then automatically whatever we are trying to achieve through our business or doing business, will be achieving that. So, Atmanang Moksharthang Jagatita. So, let us try to think about our own benefit, own gain, but at the same time, let us try to work with all and for the benefit of the whole world. So, this is with this, I'll try to end my topic or discussion. I hope that these principles will be, which is there in the scriptures, will be able to take with us, we'll think about it, and we'll try to assimilate, and we'll be able to implement in our own life as well as in our work and personal life, and try to do good to the society. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jaideep, for the eye opener session. It was indeed an enlightening one. Moving on to our next speaker of the evening, Tomas, living in Capital Federal, Argentina. Tech director at Globant's Quality Engineering Studio, he has a degree in business administration and also is an university teacher.
Hi everyone, welcome to this Agile Next topic about empower your empowerment and how this can be leveraged using Management 3.0. I'm Tomas Romero Borsi, and what we are going to talk today is about delegation and empowerment. So, why delegation skills are important? So, the very first moment we start delegating something, we will be able to focusing on the right things, focusing on doing the things right, and encouraging others to grow and take more responsibilities. Also, by taking more responsibility and encouraging ourselves to grow by letting others to let it go. Yes, as before or in the past, others mentor you or guide you or teach you. So you will be mentor, guiding, or teaching others. None of us do things right the very first time. We try and try. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed, and we learn every time on every step. So we did not know everything, and we need to understand that when we delegate. So this part of delegation and empowerment is from one of the views on Management 3.0 that is called Empower Teams. And for Management 3.0, the teams can self-organize, and this requires empowerment, authorization, and trust from management. So self-organized team is a very pillar on Agile. Yes, it's one of the words that most use. What what means by self-organized? Self-organized is not just delegate a task and the other just did it. We need to understand and we need to give that empowerment. We need to give that trust, but also we need to give some rules to understand how the things work and what are we going to expect from them as well. So many people are wrong about empowerment, and let's go to the definition on empowerment that we can find on internet. So empowerment, the definition of empowerment, it has two definitions. One that goes from authority, that I give the official authority or I have the power to invest others. So I am the one that delegates that power to others. And the second is about the ability to promote the self-actualization. So the first one, I will give the power to others. The second is more like a proactivity. I find something that others are not doing, and I will grab it and do it by my own. But the truth is that empowerment is a bit of both. Yes, I have to delegate to others, so I can also grab other tasks or start doing tasks that others delegate to me. Yes. In addition, if I have the proactivity or I see that there is space to grow on myself, probably I will grab that. I'm going to be proactive on that, but I need clarification on what's expected on that task as well. So empowerment is on the middle of these two definitions. Yes. So what is crucial to understand about empowerment is that it is a relation between two or more equal.
There is a potential and power is there, unmanifested power is there.
Make the decision, you already make it the decision that goes from authority, that I give the official authority, or I have the power to invest others. So I am the one that delegates that power to others. And the second is about the ability to promote the self-actualization. So the first one, I will give the power to others. The second is more like a proactivity. I find something that others are not doing, and I will grab it and do it by my own. But the truth is that empowerment is a bit of both. Yes, I have to delegate to others, so I can also grab other tasks or start doing tasks that others delegate to me. Yes. In addition, if I have the proactivity or I see that there is space to grow on myself, probably I will grab that. I'm going to be proactive on that, but I need clarification on what's expected on that task as well. So empowerment is on the middle of these two definitions. Yes. So what is crucial to understand about empowerment is that it is a relation between two or more equal partners. Instead of have superiors and subordinates, or leader and team, or management and employers, we have the people that are control givers and the people that are control takers. Sometimes the team delegate some management or administrative or operative staff to a manager or to the leader, and they are delegating to another that is expert on management, while they are expert on the creative or development or other areas. And sometimes the leaders or the managers delegate tasks or topics to the team because they are the experts on that topic. But what is important to have into consideration on this giving and taking control on staff is that we need to have clear boundaries. When I'm delegating something to the team or to someone else, it's important to understand what is needed and when is needed. And probably the how, they will figure it out. Yes, but they need to understand what is needed to deliver. If not, here comes the troubles or the misunderstanding or definitions not completed, and we have to rework, and that's a waste of time, waste of resources. So we need to have the boundaries. Yes, I'm delegating to you. Yes, this is expected to be completed in 2 weeks with this format. The information, you can have it over there and you will have it. I will be there with you. And let's see a graphic on the alignment and autonomy that is very clear on this about the boundaries and the invisible boundaries that probably we can put, or the agreements that we have to put in place when we are delegating to others. So what we have here is the teams that are the circle faces and leader, manager, or someone that is delegating or giving a task to them. So if we have low autonomy and low alignment, yes, in the bottom left, the people are doing whatever they are doing. Yes, they are not organized. If we have high alignment but low autonomy, yes, on the top left, the leader or someone is saying we need to cross the river, so go and build a bridge. So the autonomy here is very low because that person is already commanding or directing to build the bridge. So there is no autonomy over there. They already delegate the task, but they are already saying how, what, and when to build that. So the team just are receiving orders and following those orders. Then if we have high autonomy but low alignment, yes, in the bottom right square, they are all autonomies doing whatever they want, but they are not aligned. Yes, and you are hoping that somebody is working on the river problem, on how to cross the river. And probably all of them comes with different solutions or with different proposal, or probably they are working on another different stuff. Yes. But in the high autonomy and high alignment part, yes, top right, we need to cross the river, but figure it how. You stand the problem, or you stand what you are delegating to them, and they are the expert on figuring how to cross the river. It can be a bridge, it can be a boat, it can be whatever they want, but they know that the solution needs to be oriented into cross the river, not other. Yes, and they will work together. So here we are delegating a task, and we are giving the power, we are empowering the team to figure it out, the solution. Yes, to figure out how we are going to cross the river. Probably another boundaries or agreement is that the solution has to support for people that the bridge has to be crossed, I don't know, in less than 5 minutes. So all those agreements can help the team to figure out how to cross it on an efficient way. Also, what people think about delegation is that it's all or nothing, one or zeros. But as we are people, we are working with other people. So it's not all or nothing. And that's why Management 3.0 presents 7 levels of delegation that will give us the ability to plan a journey, a road, until a full delegation of a topic, task can be delegated fully to the team or to that person, or not, in case something needs to be done by ourselves. So with these 7 levels, we can plan how to guide others until they are fully owners on that. So the first level is to tell. Yes, this phase with a cap with an M will be the manager. So first you tell, yes, you make a decision for others, and if you want, you may explain your motivation. Yes, but there will be no discussion on that. You already take the final decision. You are sharing it to the team because you want it, but it's not needed. Then we move to the cell. Yes, and then appears other phase, and that other phase will be the team. It can be one, two, or other persons, but one has the role of the manager and the other has the role of the team. Yes. So on the second level, you are selling. You already take the decision, you already make it the decision, but you will try to convince the others that you made the right choice. So, yes, so you're going to sell your idea. Then we will have the consult. So you will ask for input to the team, and you might or you might not take into consideration before making the decision. But the idea here is to respect the other opinions, yes, to work together. But at the end, you take the final decision. Instead, on this level 4, on agree, you will enter into discuss, yes, on good term and sharing ideas, and you will try to involve everyone on this discussion. And as a group, you have to have consensus about the decision, about what are going to be done or how are going to be done. Yes. Then we move to advice, that you will offer others your opinion, your knowledge, your idea, and you will hope that the others listen you. But at the end, the decision is theirs, not yours. The sixth level is to inquire. The others will take the decision, and probably they will try to convince you that they will have the correct one. Yes. And the final level is to fully delegate. You leave the decisions to them, and you're not even interested, or you don't want to waste time to see what they did. So really, all the decision, all the power has it on the team. So let's review these all 7 levels again. So this is a symmetrical model and it works in both directions. Yes. Uh, this model, as you see, we started from level 1, we go up to level 7. So where we are going from level 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see that the control level is reducing while the delegation level is increasing. You have on level 1 the face of the manager, but when we are going moving forward from 1, 2, 3, the manager phase is decreasing while the team phase are increasing because they are more present. And on the right part, yes, level 5, 6, 7, the final decisions are taken by the team, not by the manager. Yes. And as this works on both directions, this is as well as a mirror. So consult, level 3, is the opposite of advice, level 5. Sell, level 2, is the opposite of inquire, level 6. And of course, tell, that is on level 1, is the opposite of 7, delegate. Yes. So this is an example on how we can have a board on this topic. We can play what is called a delegation poker that is very similar to the estimation poker plan that probably we may use, that every person has a set of cards and you can have different topics to discuss with the team. Yes, remember that this is with the manager or a leader and the team, the topics you want to discuss with them. And then you can see on in which level you want to delegate that. And of course, here you can put some agreements. So I know vacation days. In this example, is on level 3, but can be fully delegated to the team, level 7. So the manager delegate the vacation days to the team on level 7, but with some agreements, with some considerations. This will be on 7 if you let me know with 1 week or 2 weeks in advance when you are going to take vacation days. You can take it whenever you want, the quantity you want. If you not notice me 1 or 2 weeks in advance, but also if there are not other member of the team taking vacations. So if you plan to take, I know, next Monday and another team member has that Monday taking vacation, you are not going to move, but it's fully delegated to the team, so the team can make those arrangements. So what is needed to understand here is, this is a board that is an example, but what is needed to help us, yes, on to improve the delegation skills and succeed into what is going to be needed to delegate, is to understand what are we delegating and what can be delegated. There are some tasks that we need to be fully owners on that, and those tasks probably can't be delegated to the team or to other. Yes, we need to identify who can take that responsibility or who already let you know that is interested in having more tasks or having more challenges. Yes, so it's not only important the what, it's also important the who. Also, it's important when, having into consideration who is willing to take more responsibility. Are that people ready to take that challenge? Probably we can start on a level 2, sharing little things, and then moving or planning a way up to level 7, so that people that is interested in to grab some tasks are fully aware and fully prepared to take full ownership on those. Then don't be afraid to set some rules or guidelines or agreements, yes, that will avoid rework on the future, and also to have aligned expectation on the people that's working and you that you are delegating this task. So the alignment and expectations need to be on both sides. And also, what is crucial here is to be transparent on what needs to be done and when needs to be delivered. Probably they can manage the how, but you can work together to create this plan. And you need to be present. You need to guide them. You need to be there with them to tackle any doubt or to support or communicate them or and also thanks them to take that responsibility or to try to face new challenges or to be or to try to spread their wings. As probably before, other give you the time and space you to grow, you are giving other people that space to grow. So this is like a chain of growing. As other have leave you the space to grow, you are leaving the space to grow to others. Yes, and if we want to keep growing, we need to delegate. We need to empower the team to take more responsibilities so we can take other responsibilities as well. If we did not let go, we are losing focus. We can take more challenges if we have our our calendars, our presence already full with all other topics. So if we want also to grow, and if we want to others to delegate to us, we need to delegate some of those tasks to other. And if they are not ready, okay, to prepare something to ready them, to be with them and guide them until they are fully ready, and we can delegate that task, and we can have time to take others. So here you will have some recommended lectures. For example, Simply Managing from Henry Mintzberg, Reinventing Organizations from Frederick Laloux, Management for our friend Peter Drucker. That is a very management theoretical guide that is used from a long time ago. Behind Closed Door of Rothman and Derby, and Freedom from Command and Control of John Seddon. So again, I want to thank you for being here on this Agile Next topic about empower your empowerment and the tools that Management 3.0 can provide you. If you have any doubt or you want to reach me out, you can find me on LinkedIn, or also I invite you to visit Management 3.0 website, where you will find a lot of other topics, practices, or tools that will encourage you to empower and leverage your leadership skill and working with people that need it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas, for sharing your thoughts around delegation and empowerment. We are now at the end of our day one, Agile Next 2021. It was a great day to have witnessed the talks from our speakers today. Let us meet a few more speakers tomorrow, share their learnings. Till then, have a wonderful evening.